I'm Heidi, speaking here with Dave about becoming a power user. Dave, I've heard you talk about, in order to become a power user, we should not buy into myths. What do you mean by that?
There are a lot of ideas out there about how these products like AutoCAD should be used. In fact, it borders on being dogma and doctrine almost, This is how we use paper space, and this is how we use dimensions, and don't do that, and don't do this. And a power user is just blasphemous when it comes to that kind of religion. They're like, yeah, watch me break all the rules and do amazing things by doing that, And so when I tell people don't buy into the myths, what I mean by that is when you encounter somebody telling you that you shouldn't be doing something, or worse, that a feature set doesn't apply to your organization, wait a minute, step back from that and reevaluate. A great myth out there, for example, Autodesk is doing all this incredible stuff with 3D. And we're still stuck in the 2D world with a lot of situations, a lot of work applications, but there are those places that are 2D houses, and when they hear 3D technology coming around, they're still in that mode of, well, this isn't really a benefit to us, it's not what we do. That's a myth. And I could look at a simple application where maybe we have a 2D plan that we're working with, but by creating, let's say, a note that needs to be placed in the heart of your 2D line work, a lot of people might go in there and actually draw a boundary and start cutting away invaluable information just so they can put their note in there. You know what I mean?
Oh,
and
no.
It's like, oh no, and now you have to move the note, and now you're really screwed,
no.
So how do we get around this? Well, I got an idea. Let's get off the zero elevation spot of our design for a moment to come out here in front of it at, let's say, an elevation of 1. And I'm going to draw a polyline and turn that into a surface with the region, R-E-G-I-O-N command. Solids modeling. Well, we don't do solids modeling. Well, wait a minute, like 3D, wait a minute, okay? We're going to create a surface there, and now we're going to use either a shade mode of hidden mode, which actually hides anything underneath that surface, or we'll turn on the hidden capability of the plot time functionality, and now that little surface is moving over the top of your design. It's doing the same thing as a trim does without destroying valuable line work. And if you put notes on that same elevation of the mask entity there, or in front of it, that note can also mask and travel with it. So here's a typical example of how 3D could actually bring huge benefit to a 2D CAD house.
That's a great example. It's just using that little tiny piece of 3D, but it's just enough to, enough about moving that Z elevation, right? That Z distance.
Exactly.
And it's just enough to really help improve your drawing efficiency and save those drawings from being trimmed and exploded.
And this happens all the time. It's like one of the things I really got excited about recently was constraints. I mean, they're awesome, but some people look at that and go, well, that's what mechanical people do.
Yep.
Whoa, wait a minute. Who doesn't put text aligned with a line, right? If you were to go out there and just draw a line and then draw a piece of text and then use the various, GC, GC constraints, GC parallel, there are two commands. One straps it to the entity, the other one aligns it with the entity. In 4 picks, you can glue that piece of text to that line, and now wherever that line travels, whatever rotation it has, the text knows how to be anchored to it wherever it goes. And everybody lines text up with line work. You know what I'm saying? So there's a benefit to constraints that has nothing to do with the mechanical application. You just have to look at these features again and say, what do I do? Where's my time being spent? What bores me? What's a cumbersome process? And then say, maybe this particular functionality does lend itself to it. Destroy the myth that these features are vertical discipline based.
Another perfect example there. Great. Thanks, David.